Hello and welcome to etnow.in Realty Conclave and Awards 2025. We have amongst us the very famous Sussanne Khan, who has redefined interior and design in her own ways. It's a pleasure to have you amongst us. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that warm welcome.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about how your life journey has been, because it's truly an inspiration for a lot of people who do want to get into this interior designing space.
Sure.
So how would you define your journey that you've had so far?
I think that the crux of knowing what I wanted to do at a very young age, and design always lured me to be very curious and want to kind of deep dive into studying exactly the technical aspect of it. But I think that the life experience and the technical aspect and the studying in a different region where I got a lot of influence of a different way of how people saw design, and I think all that put together led a very deep-rooted style of how I perceive things, and it keeps changing every 10 years. That's what I feel. I feel that every 10 years my design sensibility goes to another zone, and you can't really answer that question in one sentence, but there is a lot of growth that a designer must always have every year of their life, because understanding what the world is around them, what it's not only about the trends, but what you foresee to come as a trend. So if you've been in the business long enough, you kind of understand that how things, the history of architecture and art keep taking these circles and keep changing, and how things mix together. So I think that the answer to that question is a very long essay, but I'm going to stop here.
When we think about your designs, we automatically associate them with, luxury. But in your words, how would you define your design aesthetic?
So I think that after a long time of analysis and a lot of hard work, I've come to the conclusion that design can be in various levels of luxury, and even with having the design as something that is not as expensive as it looks. So there are aspects nowadays in materials and in various ways that you can make a design look even more expensive than it actually is. And I think that if one can master that art, you can have extremely luxurious projects, or you can have projects which are aspirational and well priced and budgeted that look very luxurious. So there is a very thin line of understanding of how to do that. So I think that somewhere along these 15, 20 years of my experience, I have kind of mastered that.
And I'm sure that's very important to a certain type of audience as well.
Yes. I think that there are so many young aspirational couples who are just starting off their life, young, singles, not only couples, who are, extremely motivated to make their environment where they are, whether it's their home, whether it's their office, whether it's their zone, wherever they are, in a much more, exuberant way. So I think that, and everybody doesn't want to spend so much money because they know that after some time they may want to change it. So I think that having to create defining a certain amount of the space in a very classic way, but using materials that can change in relation to upgrading your design sensibility with not a very expensive cost. That is an art that I think we are mastering now. Yeah.
So to follow up on that question a little bit, I'm sure you've designed a lot of luxurious spaces and celebrity homes as well.
Yes.
What is the most challenging aspect, in that whole aspect?
I think that the only aspect that is challenging is when you think of a new idea of mixing a couple of materials that probably haven't been mixed, and you want to kind of have a technique that is going to allow you to, how to assemble that product and to carry it up to maybe when it's a high rise, or how do you carry it up when it is on a 50th floor. So there are certain challenges that you do face in very expensive apartments as well, because of the way the location of the apartment. So when you design, you have to think of all of that as well, you know. So those are the only challenges I think that I have faced, and now we structure it in such a way that it can come apart, but you cannot notice where the joints are, you know. So so that's one aspect of it.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
If you could describe your legacy in one moment, or let's say a project, you know, what would that moment or project be? Something that defines you or your work legacy.
I think
over the years.
the charcoal project Hyderabad, which I've just launched.
I was about to ask you.
I think that it is 35,000 square feet of the interior design, various materials and price ranges of product which are not so expensive to very unique, you know, collectible art furniture. And I think my team at Charcoal Project has been instrumental in helping me build this entire empire, as I would call it. And I think that that is how I think we've realized that, okay, this is the legacy. The legacy is not only what we've created, but the legacy is the team we've put together of the people who are, you know, today like family to me. I call them Charcoal family. So I think legacy is not only about man-made, things which are inanimate objects, but they're also the team you create in your company, you know. So I think that's important to me.
Yeah, and that's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
To make this segment a little more interesting, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and I want you to give me answers in one word.
Okay.
So my first question is there a dream space or location that you would love to design someday? And if yes, what would that be?
I would love to design the Vatican one day, redesign the Vatican.
One word that describes your leadership style.
Extremely wholesome and friendly. Yeah.
I am getting that sense. Are you a minimalist or a maximalist?
Maximalist to the highest degree.
So if you could pick one essential item and place that in every room, what would that be?
It would be a fragrance diffuser, which we've created out of our own kind of 100% fragrance-free, allergen-free, scents. So I think that would be something I would put in every space, no matter where it is, because smell is very important.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. And my final question is about your son's art, because it's, trending nowadays. So if your son's, I'm sure it's a very, it's a moment of pride for you when you see your son bringing art in the room. So what do you have to say about that?
Ecstatically happy and very, very proud of him. And I think that he keeps growing and he's constantly evolving. So I'm just here to keep him motivated and loved, so that he grows in that atmosphere, of creating what he likes.
I'm sure he will. Best wishes to you and best wishes to him. Thank you so much for joining us for this. We really appreciate you having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.